Hey, this is Kingsman, and we want you to show up just like a Kingsman should. And the way that you can go about showing up right now as a Kingsman is by being the mentor that your son needs. So this message is in the title today. It is Mentorship in Motion. So Mentorship in Motion is all about you as your son's father, providing him with the guidelines on how to be a man. Now, being a man is not something that you just do, meaning you're not just yelling. It doesn't make a man to yell. It doesn't make a man to just be there and just be roaming around in the house. No, it's more than that. It takes more than that. It's a man that's present. It's a man that walks the talk. It's the man that shows his son how to deal with external pressures and how to deal with the internal voice that's going on in his mind. He's showing him how to deal with making the right decisions. He's showing him how to deal with people. He's showing him how to go out and interact with other people. He's showing him what a man is. He's showing him what a man is. So that's what I want to do today, is to help you and me be able to walk this thing out of Kingsman. So Kingsman is all about a father understanding his role, understanding the things that he has going on and that he is responsible for in his household. So in this household that I want to talk about is mentorship in motion. So like I was saying, a mentorship in motion is that your son is watching everything that you do. He's walking alongside you. He is watching how you talk to people. He is watching what you do in any situation. So as your son walks alongside you, he is wondering, why is daddy doing that? Why is he saying that? Why is he talking to them? And why is he talking to them? Why is he talking to everybody? Why is he interacting with every kid? Why is he going over here and doing this? How is he able to do that? How is he able to make that? How is he able to think through that? This is the things that's going on in your young man's head. He may not say it, but it comes out in a different form. It comes out in a different shape, right? So that's what I want to talk to you today. So remember, like we said in the past, is that you're not perfect. You have flaws. Your son needs to understand that you are not perfect. You are a man that has or will make mistakes at times. Everything is not perfect that you do, but you strive for perfection, right? And remember, we must be present and intentional in everything that we do. When you are in motion, you're creating momentum. When you are in motion, you create momentum. So what that means is that it's like when you're doing the things that you're supposed to do as far as planning, when you're doing the things that you're supposed to do as far as having a clear direction, what happens is it's easy for you to create momentum. And when you create momentum, it actually continue on in the right direction. So it seems like everything is working. No, it's just that you have put it into work a certain kind of way that allowed you to make it seem like things is just happening just cause, and it's not. It's because you've been disciplined in your actions, disciplined in your responsibilities. This is what that looks like, right? So this is the fruit of what it means to be disciplined, what it means to create momentum. This is what that means. And the one thing that I want you to teach your son is the ability to stand firm and have courage. Why is that ability? Why is that something important? Because if you stand firm on ideas, you're letting him know, hey, just because somebody don't agree with you, or just because you said something that didn't agree with somebody else, it's okay. You got to stand firm on what you just said. You got to stand firm on your idea. Because once you stand firm on your idea, it shows that you are a man of standard, right? You have a standard about you. You have a way about you. You have a vision about you. Because what anybody and everybody want to see is like a man of standards. So they want something to lean towards, something to follow, right? So, and it's like, oh, I see how he did that. Or I see why he did that. That's the same thing your son is doing. Now, other men may do it because it's just something that they've seen in you where it's like, you know what? I like how he did that. So the one thing that I want to talk to you today is that our first point is having block out weekly for your men's sessions. So your men's sessions will be consisting of what he will face, what he has faced for the week, what he has learned for the week, and what was his struggle for the week. And let him know what are you proud of that he has done this week. So those 4 things were, I put 3, but it's 4. What he faced this week, what he learned this week, what was his struggles this week, and what are you proud of this week, right? So when you have these kind of particular questions, one thing that I want you to understand is that you're setting up your son's week. You're setting up your kids' week. You can actually use this in a different way for your kids. When I say kids, is that for your girls, for your sons, for your girls and your sons, that you can be able to figure out what's going on for that week for them and figure out their struggles, and then let them know, like, hey, man, I'm proud of you. Now, you can't just be that father that just honing in on the bad things that they do, the things that they do wrong and how they didn't do it, and they didn't do it to the way you wanted them to do it. No, you need to give that same energy that you did when they did something wrong. You need to do that same thing for when they do something right. Because kids want that too. They want to see something that you have done that shows that you care, that you are consistent, at least in your discipline, right? So just take these steps now to just, figure out what you want to do for this week. Now, your questions don't have to be that in like that specific way. It can be different. It's just how you plan on making them. But I just want to give you just a practical step that you can follow, something that you can hold on to, like a guide, and be able to use it and critique it your way. Now, this is the one that I like. It says model the behavior that you want your son to master. What do you want your son to master, right? Model the behavior that you want your son to master. So if you want your son to be more disciplined, show the behavior that you want your son to have. Show the behavior that you want your daughter to have. Show that behavior. Have respect for not only yourself, but others. So you have to have self-discipline. You have to have self-respect in order to give respect the way that you want him to give to others also. Emotional control. The one thing that the reason why this stood out for me too is that emotional control. What I'm noticing right now is that when a young man is with his mama full time, right, and doesn't have a male figure in his life, he's going to take on traits that he doesn't need to have. What are those traits? Those traits are, so let's say, for instance, if your mom comes home and she's like just giving you the business every single time, or when something comes up and then it just doesn't work the way that she wanted to work, and what happens is she spazzes out. Then she brings home work issues or things that how she's dealing with work or how she's dealing with her friends. The son is watching that. The son is picking up on that. The son is watching everything. So he's thinking in his mind, this is something I must do. So when I get mad or aggravated, I should be able to express myself with hitting, or I should express myself with just doing things. No. And it's not a thing on women. It's just that there are some things that I'm noticing in the men that I'm looking at is that when they get aggravated, when they get mad, the one thing they want to do is get in their feelings and be shut down. Us as men, we cannot shut down. We don't have time to shut down. It's more of, we got to understand, it's like a little loop. Here's the problem. We have to think about the problem. We have to come up with a decision on the problem. And we have to figure out what are the way that we can get out of this problem and find a solution, right? And one of the things that I wanted to let you know is that what happens is we don't have a lot of male figures that is letting these young men know, hey, you wrong on that. Hey, the way that you're acting right now is not cool. We don't have a lot because it's more of they don't want to listen anyway. No, we still have to let them know and point that out. We have to point out the bad things that they're doing. We have to point out the bad decisions or the bad emotions that they're showing. We have to, because it is one of those things that we don't do it when it's not going to happen. Then they just grow up to be grown men with issues. And then it's just a never-ending circle of, woe is me. It's not woe is you. It's just that you haven't dealt with emotions or dealt with your mindset that is allowing you to do the things that you are doing. But you don't want to face it because you're okay with where you are. So there's other things that I have written down, like far as faith, and this is, I would say that's the where I would stop at. That's where I would stop at. Faith. Where do you have your faith in? As a father, what do you have your faith in? What are you pulling from, right? When times get hard, when times are going well, what are you pulling from to have faith? For me, as a Christian man, the one thing that I lean on, as far as when I'm having a struggling time or a time where my emotions up and down, or in times where it feels like nothing is going right, or when things are going right, I lean on God. I have to lean on God because at the end of the day, I have to make sure that I'm good. And when I'm not good, it just seems like everything else is going in a different direction. So today, I want you to understand your training. So today, I want you to understand your training, and discipline is a muscle that you can actually learn with your son together. And here are some things that I want to help you make sure that you do that. And it's make it real, make it visible, and make it a lifestyle. Make it real, make it visible, and make it a lifestyle. Because once you make it a lifestyle, it's something that you do without even thinking. Like driving, like picking up your keys, going to your car, cranking the car up. It's things that you do repeatedly without thinking. So lastly, and the last thing that I want to leave you with is give him responsibilities and real consequences. Because once you give your son responsibility and real consequences, that's setting him up for real life scenarios and real life situations. Because you're setting his mind on, if I have these things to cover, if I have this to do, I understand that this will happen, right? So this is the things that when you want your son to learn, this is stage one of manhood right here, which is responsibilities and consequences. Because you understand that you are responsible for your words, because as a man, your words has consequences based off what you say. So how to carry a weight. A weight is one of those things, like if you have just issues on something on your shoulders that you don't know how to get off, or something on your shoulders that's weighing you down a little bit, right? That you feel like it's weighing you down, that you feel like it's just, you don't know how to deal with it. You can't shake it. This is where you would want to teach your son that in any way kind of scenario or life scenario, be like, hey, here's how you can go about overcoming this. And you can do it with just weights, other weights, like far as gym weights. You can let them hold a little weight, and then once things get hard, what do you got to do? You got to push, right? It's in that pushing motion. It's in that coming down, taking a breath, taking an inhale, and then expressing that breath with an exhale push to get it up off you. And then another thing is solving a problem. Showing him how to solve a problem. It can be a difficult problem. It can be a small problem. It can be a major problem. But you're showing him how to make that problem. You're showing him how to problem solve. And the way you can go about doing this is by assigning him responsibilities. I think my son and my daughters, my son and my daughters, let me say that correctly, because I don't have two sons. But our kids have this thing called, they have responsible for taking shoes. My bad. So my kids are responsible for taking shoes upstairs. That's their responsibility. Is that they're responsible for getting the shoes from downstairs, taking them upstairs, and putting them in every room here. And then also, you're managing your peace. The reason why you're letting him know that to manage his room in a certain kind of way, because it's peaceful. You can't think in chaos. You can't do anything in chaos. You can't have fun in chaos. Because the only thing that you want to do is get out of chaos, right? So that's one thing that I want you to understand, is helping them with family tasks. And family task can be something that you guys are all working together with, and it shows togetherness. It shows that you want him to lean on his family, lean on his sisters, lean on you, right? And remember, don't rescue your son for every mistake. And one thing that I seen this few days ago, or a day ago, when was that game? I think it was I went to a basketball game and I seen a kid. He was playing basketball, but I think he was more frustrated, not only at the score, but he was frustrated the way he was playing. So one of the kids like nudged him or pushed him or so. He rolled on the floor holding his hip. So I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you being so dramatic on doing that? So they rushed to his aid, as coaches do. But I think it was more that he was frustrated with the game and the way it was being played, because they were down. I think they were down 22 points. So he got on the sideline, had one of those, pulled out a massager thing on the sideline. But I'm like, you didn't even fall like that. So why are you pulling out something in that kind of way? Like, why are you pulling out something that you don't even need, an instrument? I was like, why are we attending to that? Like, why are we attending to that? It made me mad because it was just, I seen a kid doing a lot of extra stuff that wasn't even called for. If you're losing, face that you're losing, face that you don't like to lose, do better, do better. But it's one of those things that it wasn't handled correctly. So as a Kingman, I want you to understand that your son is watching your steps, your footsteps. He's studying your consistency. He's studying how you absorb and how you view your values. You are shaping his emotions. He's watching things that you're doing. Remember, if you don't get anything else out of this, that you are first his coach. You are providing him with a guideline on what manhood is and what to expect from manhood. And understand that, be an example of greatness to your son. Because once you become the man of greatness, your son understands that there's an excellence that comes with you. There's a process that comes with you and being you and being behind you, and understanding that he has to carry the torch next. So today, this is Will from New Steps Foundation. We want to make sure that you got something from this message today. As a Kingsman, understand that each and every day is going to be new. Each and every day is going to be different. But if you have the things that we've been going over, resilience, discipline, consistency, everything will work out according to your will, according to the will that he